From a broke college dropout to a multi-millionaire, today I'm going to share my full story with you.
Lately, I've noticed my perception of finance YouTubers slowly shifting, from educational resource to scammy salesman. And I'm not the only one that thinks this.
Financial YouTubers are a cancer. Time and time again, they keep getting away with shilling terrible advice to their massive viewer base, and there's never any accountability.
There's a growing sentiment from their followers online that feel the exact same way. But it wasn't always like this. Once trusted sources of financial wisdom are now slowly being perceived as greedy grifters. Hey guys, it's Donna. This video was requested by one of you. Shout out OrchidPurple420. Okay, today we are going to be talking about finance YouTubers. Now this is a very broad genre, so specifically, we're going to be talking about the educational sector. Your Graham Steffens, Andre Jeeks, Meet Kevins. These YouTubers have given practical advice for the everyday person. What's an IRA? What's an index fund? In terms of finance, the educational influencer was, I think, considered one of the most trusted as opposed to someone like Tai Lopez. But people are starting to distrust them as well. A few weeks ago, that was made even more clear in a video by CoffeeZilla. The peak of this distrust has been prompted by a video from CoffeeZilla called YouTuber Bank Won't Let Me Withdraw Money.
They were talking about a bank promoted by YouTubers that's now become a casino and users can't get their money out.
In short, YouTubers such as Graham Stephan, Nate O'Brien, and Andre Jeeks promoted a product that has put many of their followers in financial ruin. This product was Yotta Bank, a banking service that seems to have turned into a casino and now viewers can't withdraw their money. Individuals on Reddit calling Graham a snake oil salesman that got them screwed. To be fair to Graham and all the other YouTubers that promoted this bank, including Markiplier, it's not completely their fault. There'd be no way for any influencer to foresee this disaster. In short, the reason users can't withdraw their money is because of a middleman dispute between Yotta's banking partners. The problem is a bit complex, so I'll link some articles that will explain this in detail if you're interested. But essentially, two intermediaries, Synapse and Evolve Bank, can't agree over transaction and balance ledgers. As a result, thousands of customers have been unable to access their funds because these companies can't agree on how much they have or don't have and who has what. Blaming an influencer for this would be like blaming Mr. Beast if his sponsor, let's say that game Brawl Stars, ever glitches out. It's Brawl Stars' fault if their game glitches, not his. Yet one peek at Graham Steffens' comment section today, after this fiasco, shows you just how much animosity there is still towards him. On the surface, this seems like a case of a mob angry because everyone else is angry. But it's not. CoffeeZilla even acknowledges that there is no way for these YouTubers to predict this disaster. This is because this animosity has been brewing for these educational finance influencers for years.
Am I about to clap some millennial money cheeks? Except for Graham, the only intelligent person on this frickin' panel of bozos.
You have people who claim they no longer watch them. Others accuse them of being scammers. Meet Kevin's entire subreddit has completely turned on him. What's interesting about this phenomenon is that the criticism isn't just towards one guy. It's towards almost all educational influencers across the board. Gonna call them that for the rest of the video, it's shorter and makes things easier. So, why is everyone turned on them? I can answer that question for you in 2 words. Greed and the algorithm. That's technically 4 words, but I never know if people count the and the whenever they use that phrase. Let's go back to 2015, where social media was filled with these scammy salesmen who illustrated themselves as financial gurus.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here.
They showcased their fancy cars as they gave advice to their audience. They talked about how they got rich with a spectacular view behind them. This influencer showcased beautiful women, interviewed high-profile celebrities, and seemed to live a life of luxury. The problem with these types of videos were, they were always selling something. The promise of their lifestyle. And for the low payment of $1,000 and your soul, you too could become a millionaire if you buy my course. It was so salesy and inauthentic, almost everyone and their grandma knew these videos were essentially ads.
Kind of obscene how every detail of this video is so purposeful. The Lamborghini, the garage, the bookshelf, and you want your money so bad, dude. He's thought about this video a lot.
However, by 2016/2017, you had new voices coming into the finance genre: education. They were teaching viewers all about credit, what the hell dividends are, an ETF versus a mutual fund, and all about the stock market. Some of these YouTubers, such as Meet Kevin, even did deep dives on some of the scammy salesmen that dominated early YouTube, getting sued by Grant Cardone. These guys were actually carving out their own section in finance YouTube, where viewers saw them as a separate entity from the scammy salesmen. They were educational, trustworthy, and informative.
And I am here to provide free, easy to understand financial education.
Dare I say, millennial Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman? This era in finance YouTube was, honestly, kind of life-changing for me. My parents are immigrants, so their financial advice to me was just, save money, credit cards are bad. And school teaches you nothing, by the way. Or maybe they did, just wasn't paying attention. But part of the reason why I opened up a Roth IRA was because of Graham Stephan's videos. I was so annoyed by all the Tai Lopez's promising this unattainable dream, but these finfluencers were like a breath of fresh air. They actually gave me something practical to use for free that I could do that day. But there's a problem with sensible education content in finance. You can only do so much of it. Unlike Mr. Beast's content, which thrives as long as his brain works, some genres have a natural limit on the amount of content that can be produced. I believe finance content that is sensible and educational is one of those genres. There are only so many ways one can explain the difference between a Roth IRA versus a traditional IRA, or which credit card is the best for beginners. Take me, for example. I think I represent one type of viewer that a lot of these educational finfluencers had. I'm an average person just looking for a way to optimize my current income. I'm not trying to take a big risk right now, picking some stock where I can go all in and become a millionaire. I was literally just looking for how to do the basics. I got what I needed, and then I kind of stopped watching them. And that's a problem for these guys. As you should know by now, creators are paid based on how much viewership they garner from their videos. And sponsorships, of course, but we'll get back to that. The more views they get, the more money they make. If you have a viewer base that will eventually stop watching you after, let's say, 7 videos, that money is eventually going to be less than it was before. I see this a lot in the education space in general. People get what they need and then they leave. Take fitness, for example. The beginner just getting into gym culture will often watch a fitness influencer to build their own fitness routine and sometimes their diet. After they perfect their form and build the routine, there really is no reason to keep watching. This is why a lot of fitness education channels have inconsistent viewership. Their channels are a revolving door of new people coming in and out. In theory, this sounds okay because there will always be new viewers. In the eyes of brands, it's not so great. The influencer is unable to build a loyal community. They keep leaving after everything they need. This leads to less likelihood of those new people purchasing whatever product. However, the fitness genre has been able to solve this. Lifestyle content and fitness entertainment is a growing community with consistent viewership. Viewers are watching for the creator rather than just the info. So, after exhausting basic sensible topics, these finfluencers had to target an audience that would actually become a community, like in fitness entertainment. Is it even possible to do that in the genre? The person that sticks around isn't the safe investor who invests long term. Again, they've already learned basic finance from early videos. You could probably look at any of these guys' videos, sort by oldest, and find that everything used to be basic and educational. Today, it's all clickbait. This is just my speculation here, but I think the person that watches the finance influencer isn't someone who's experienced. And I'm not trying to diss them. Anyone is free to share their opinions on how to invest or whatever. I just doubt that people who are experienced in the world of finance are interested in hearing the opinions from people who make their money solely using content creation or selling courses. The type of viewer that these guys are able to keep are probably beginners, but beginners with this sense of, I want more. I'm gonna be rich too. For these viewers, it's like, okay, you taught me how to set up my Robinhood or whatever brokerage, but tell me what stock is the next Tesla so I can make a lot of money. And that is where the greed starts to kick in. Instead of giving that same level-headed advice as they've done before, many finfluencers started to feed into the emotional and irrational tendencies of their viewers, like producing videos on which individual stocks to buy.
Hey everyone, me Kevin here. I just came back from a run and I am so excited to be able to share my stock portfolio with you. I'm going to show you everything.
Let me tell you right now, there isn't one expert that can tell you which stock will make you $1 million. Otherwise, we'd all be listening to that expert. Unless it's Nancy Pelosi. If you happen to see her buy something, you do it.
Tic-tac-toe, a winner.
So why would these YouTubers think of themselves as any different? They don't. But these videos do get views. Investing is always going to come with risk, obviously, and advice has to be catered for the individual. But for simplicity's sake, and this is not financial advice, one of the most generic and common pieces of advice that's often given is to invest your money in a broad index fund like the S&P 500.
The advantage of doing this is that index fund investing has outperformed 99% of active investors over a 20-year period.
But that's boring and it doesn't get any views. It's been said 1,000 times before. By them sometimes. In order to cultivate recurring viewership and get that delicious ad revenue, many abandoned that level-headed image by introducing these riskier plays. They didn't outright tell you which stocks to buy because giving financial advice in the US is regulated. It was more like, hey, here's what's in my portfolio. And these viewers tended to follow the world of finance religiously because they needed to know how the market was doing so they didn't lose money. This is how many of these finfluencers were able to transition into news. Now, this was all fine and dandy until so many of their stock picks began to lose their viewers money.
His entire channel grew off of a scam cryptocurrency, Shiba Inu coin, and penny stocks.
We are seeing millionaires printed.
That is how he grew his channel to 600,000 subscribers. Obviously, you should be called out for that.
In a video uploaded in 2023, Carson Gall found that listening to Andrei Zik would give you a return of -5%. Listening to financial education, -53%. Stock Mo, -68%. This video by Cooper Academy that was uploaded last year in July found that Meet Kevin's stock fund that he titled My Top 7 Stocks was up barely 2%, while the market at the time was up 32%. What's funny, well maybe not for people that have lost money, is that a lot of these finfluencers sell a course on buying stocks. I don't see anything wrong with this per se. Gatekeeping is dumb and anyone should be able to give their opinion. But should you really sell a course if your results are -53%? The veil was beginning to lift for a lot of their viewers. Meet Kevin's subreddit has turned into a space that seems dedicated to criticizing his every move. This isn't some case of subjective hate where you made a cringy music video and now people hate you. A finance influencer's content has the potential to cause life-altering situations. People have deleted themselves, if you know what I mean, over stocks. Another tempting high-view topic that these finfluencers could produce videos on was crypto. Not a lot of them did this, because while it was a popular topic, if they advised their viewer the wrong coin, their integrity would deeply suffer. Considering the fact that not a lot of crypto projects other than Bitcoin and Ethereum survive, it is a high-risk topic to discuss, especially if you're viewed as a level-headed finance influencer. The most prominent person who decided to take this risk was Andrei Zik.
Hi, my name is Andrei Zik. Hope you're doing well. I'm still not a crypto channel, so come for the finance and stay for the crypto. It's a phase. Leave me alone.
You could say the jig is up. Talking about cryptocurrency in general and even explaining what certain coins are, in my opinion, is fine. But if you are viewed as an authoritative educator in finance, you really should not be promoting, even if it's implicitly, altcoins that are highly volatile. Again, their demographic is likely the irrational beginner who wants to be rich like them. The moral thing to do is not to feed into that irrationality. You'll be missing out on some views, but at least you'll keep your integrity. Andrei always had a caveat in his crypto videos along the lines of explaining he wasn't an expert. He also never explicitly said, buy this crypto and you'll be rich, but he showed just how much he invested into certain altcoins. And if you are that irrational beginner, you're likely going to copy because he's not Tai Lopez. He's a financial educator. As you might have guessed, some of his picks didn't do so well. His notable videos include Cardano, which is uploaded when it was around $1.35. If you sold 3 months later, you could have made a profit because it hit almost $3, but if you waited till today, it's not even $1. Then there was Sheeb, which she promoted in October of 2021, right at the peak. It had a small pop recently, but it's never returned to those all-time highs again. One of his worst picks, in my opinion, was the crypto Omi. At the time of upload, it was 0.009 cents. Today, it is worth 0.30 and something cents. What's worse is that if you listened to him and bought when he uploaded his video, it never hit 0.009 cents ever again, meaning you only lost money. Hey, but the views were worth it, right? Courses aren't bad. Crypto isn't bad, well, certain ones at least. But of course, you're going to get criticism if you've positioned yourself as an authoritative figure in finance and the things you teach or the crypto you've invested in lost yourself money and or your viewers money. Other finfluencers like Graham Stephan have really tried to avoid this controversy. He hasn't done any videos on which stocks to pick. He doesn't tell you which crypto, if any, he's invested in. If he talks about crypto, it's in a very general sense. His content still caters to the beginners, and he focuses on news. Now, I would go as far to say that Graham Stephan is probably the biggest educational finance content creator there is. If he were to make videos on which stocks to buy, or which crypto to invest in, those things would go to the moon. His views would go to the moon. To Graham's credit, he's done well to avoid that and protect his integrity. However, there is an incentive to make up for that loss in potential revenue.
I asked around, the sponsorship deals were absurd. I know a guy, much smaller channel than me, making $500,000 a year, $50K a month just to promote FTX US. So I know the bigger guys were getting much more. Some of them probably deals were in the millions.
Graham, among other influencers, have a horrible track record in promoting products that have completely destroyed their viewers financially. We already talked about Yotta Bank, but he, along with other finfluencers, also promoted FTX.
Many of the large personal finance YouTubers, including Graham Stephan, Andre Jig, Meet Kevin, Minority Mindset, and Jeremy from Financial Education, have promoted this exchange in the past.
FTX's failure likened to Enron's scandal or Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme.
Similar to Yotta, customers could not withdraw their funds, this time from a crypto exchange. In short, it was an alleged scam and went bankrupt.
That's the scariest part. So many of these experts who are giving you guys advice totally bought into this Sam character as this genius billionaire, right? The most generous billionaire in the world, who also happened to be paying them handsomely, of course. And I just think it shows how bad the discernment is out there making videos on how to invest. It's alarming how many people fell for this guy's ruse, and it's alarming how easy it was to convince them. Like, some of these guys believed in Sam because he drives a beat-up car.
Oh, but wait, there are other things that finfluencers have either promoted or put money into that have gone badly. Andre Jig and Jeremy from Financial Education backed Voyager. People like Meet Kevin and Andre Jig again put money into BlockFi. Sponsorships also lead to a conflict of interest. FTX, BlockFi, Yotta. These companies are smart.
Let me clarify, smart when it comes to marketing.
They know humans have a cognitive bias called anchoring. It's when humans rely heavily on the first piece of information they receive when making decisions. Here, you have someone who has built a brand that illustrates themselves as a responsible financial educator. This first piece of information anchors a viewer's perception of them as a whole. With 2 out of the 3 of those companies involving crypto, it's gonna be extremely risky to invest in them. The perception of risk is mitigated, though, because it is being endorsed by the educational finfluencer.
One of the most common arguments finance influencers use, not necessarily to justify bad crypto/stock picks or bad sponsorships, but more to dismiss their fault, is to say that they got scammed too. And I think this is true, yeah. These influencers didn't have insider information that the public didn't have. But I can see how this argument would frustrate a lot of people. On one hand, the finance influencer positions themselves as an authoritative figure in the space. They call themselves educators, they sell courses, they make informative videos, they're an expert. They supposedly know a lot and want to share that knowledge with you. But then when they make a mistake, all of a sudden it's, oh, I don't have experience in this, I'm just like you. You can't be both. This is why so many people call them greedy. They're an expert when it's convenient, when they want views or when they want to sell their courses. But they're an amateur, just like me and you, when their stock/crypto picks don't work out. Some influencers like Nate O'Brien have realized they've exhausted a lot of topics in basic finance.
I had said everything that I needed to say. I've made all the videos that I wanted to make and the thoughts that I wanted to share. I feel like 95% of those I've already done.
As a creator myself, I do understand that they're trying to keep their business afloat, and a portion of that is through views.
I don't think Graham is the worst guy ever, but I think the problem with these finance channels is they do a lot of fear mongering, and a lot of what they're doing is strictly just like, it's like entertainment and bad advice as opposed to like actual genuine good advice that'll actually help people.
That begs the question, what's the line between running your YouTube business, but also staying educational and ethical?
If you pay close attention, you will notice that more qualified creators like Richard at the Plain Bagel, who is an investment analyst and has a CFA, and Ben Felix, who is a portfolio manager, avoid making financial recommendations because they know they can't do it to an audience of that size without doing more harm than good. And I think the choice to not give wild speculative advice is why their audience is significantly smaller than these more exciting characters.
Regardless of the answer to this question, the criticism finance influencers faced is well deserved.
Jeremy from Financial Education is a fraudster, he's a scammer, he's an idiot, he's a moron.
These vocal critics aren't mere internet trolls. They were once die-hard supporters, many of which have faced significant losses. Alright guys, I mean, putting aside the bad sponsorships, I don't know if this is a YouTube thing, like as a whole, or just the finance genre, but the content now feels soulless. So I think I'm going to end this video by reading a comment one of Graham's viewers left on his video. Judging from the thumbs up, seems like a lot of people agree. I've stopped watching so many creators I used to follow because it's so obvious their content is solely based on their affiliate marketing and chasing the dollar rather than providing the true value they used to. That's the end of the video. I will see you guys next time. Stay psyched.